Joe plays scarf.
Hello there. Today is Monday, January 27th, 2025. My name is Lynda. I am the host of the Joey Scarf podcast, which is a knitting, crocheting, yarn type of podcast. Decided to come on a little bit this morning, have my tea, tell you a little bit about what's going on here. I'm drinking some kind of cinnamon tea. Ginger Snappish from the Bigelow Holiday Collection, I guess. It's really good. And I just put a little milk in it, little almond milk, which some people don't like to put milk in their tea. After I finish my tea, I'm going to gather all the stuff together that I will show you when I record a little later of what I've been working on. I also have another story, and we'll talk about that. And yeah, I've been doing some knitting and some crocheting for sure. Just like the rest of the country, here in central New Jersey, the temperatures have been pretty low. This week they're going to be in the 40s, so it's going to seem like spring is on the way. A little hint of spring, maybe. I think I've been spending way too much time alone. I can entertain myself for sure. The day goes by. But I feel lonely, and if I feel lonely, and I guess I feel more isolated, lonely, and star crazy. So that's probably more of how I would express my feelings right now. So I'm almost done with my tea. And this mug is from the San Diego Zoo. It was one of Ross's from probably 30 years ago, but he had a whole set. So the tea's almost gone. I'm going to get myself up. I washed my bedding, so time to make the bed, get dressed, and I'm gonna go out for a little bit, which I haven't done all weekend. I have to go pick up a prescription, so kind of forced to do that. And then when I come back, I'm gonna show you what I've been working on. So you'll see that next. See you in a minute. Okay, so let's get into some knitting. One of the things I've worked on, and it took me quite a while to do this, my nephew, who's like 6'4", maybe even taller than that, asked me for a pair of fingerless gloves, fingerless mitts. The only thing is that he wanted the fingers, he just didn't want the tips on them, so that made my job a little bit harder. So I found a pattern on Knit Picks. I had to pay for it, I think it was like $2. And I'll put a picture here of what they're supposed to look like. I made this size large for him. And I really had a difficult time with these. This is what they look like. There are 2 of them. And of course, the problem I had was the fingers, in between, you know, there's gaps that if you don't know the trick, then there's gaps in between the fingers that have to be sewn up. And I just didn't do such a good job with that. And I'm not sure. I had my son-in-law try these on because I haven't seen my nephew. I had him try these on, and he's about the same size as Tony. And they fit him, but I'm just not happy with the way these came out. They look kind of wonky. And this one isn't as bad as the other one. It's just the, you know, they're not perfect. They definitely look handmade, but I want to try another pair, see if I can do a better job. I will next time I see him, I'll give them to him. He can do what he wants with them. I'm just concerned that the fingers, because of the stitching that I had to do in between, that they might not fit him. But they're pretty cozy, actually. This is Knit Picks City Tweed yarn. Let's see. This is a blend of merino and alpaca, and maybe that's the other thing too. They're so soft. I don't know if I made gloves with just maybe more wool, that they wouldn't be so. I don't know. I'm just not happy with the way they came out. But I have made gloves before, and they're really not that hard. Like, I get the concept of it and how to do it. It's just those darn fingers. Now, if he had wanted just, you know, fingerless gloves, fingerless mitts with, you know, just the thumb and, you know, no fingers, that would have been a lot easier. And I think I might make him a pair of those too, just to see if that'll be acceptable for him. The other big thing I did was I took all of my Dollar Tree yarn skeins and I made a blanket. And this took me quite a while to make. A couple of, maybe, I worked on it every single night. So maybe about 10 days to do this. It's very soft, very cozy. And I'll put a picture here of the full thing so that you can see. It was fun to do because of all the different colors, and that kept me interested. This is crocheted, and it's a half double crochet stitch, and I just chained as long as I thought, as wide as I wanted to make it, so that it would kind of fit over my lap at least. And then I just kept going until I used all of the yarn, and it's pretty good for me. Like, it can cover me, and I'm just barely 5 foot, so I think it's about maybe 70 inches long. This is Premier Simply Chenille, and you can buy it online. But they had little skeins of it at the dollar store for $1.25. So all in all, it probably cost me about 30 bucks to make this. What I was not happy with is the chenille itself. Not the brand of yarn, but chenille, if you cut it, it just strips off, you know. and I was just very worried that the blanket would come apart. So I didn't want to cut any of the yarn, so I just crocheted until there wasn't any yarn left. So I didn't end it on the ends. Wherever, if it ran out in the middle, that's where I attached the new skein, as you can see here. And I tried my best to not cut it and just like I sewed in the ends the best that I could, but you know, there's still going to be left over, as you can see. I think you can see, like right here is how it shreds. You know, it just comes right apart. So I don't know if that, I've knotted it a lot of times. I don't know if it'll hold or not, but this blanket is for me, and as long as it stays intact, I'll use it. And if there's a hole, I don't know, I'll sew it up, I guess, because it's a raggy blanket, a scrappy blanket, and it's my blanket, and I love it. So that's my Dollar Tree scrappy blanket with all the different colors. And it might not be very coordinated, but again, it's a cozy. I snuggle up with it while I'm watching TV, and I love it. So I do have the third story, and the name of the story is called Claire, Imagine That. And instead of me reading it, I'm going to put a link to the Word doc, or the document. I have it stored on Google as a public document. So if you click on the link in the description box below, it should take you to that document, and you can read about Claire for yourself. I find it very difficult to read the story, because to read the first two that I did, it was very uncomfortable for me to read aloud the story. And I just feel shy about it, I guess. So I would prefer if you would read the story. And sometimes if you're actually reading it and you see the words, you might get a different impression of the story than me reading it also. So I would love it if you would read the story and tell me what you think about Claire. So I do have more knitting. Made another Sophie scarf. And I held two strands of fingering weight yarn together to make this. And yeah, kind of like it. So let's see, you can wear it this way. Just kind of tie it like that. Or you can wear it this way. And then tie in the front. Yeah, that's pretty cozy. And I enjoyed making it. The thing with the Sophie scarf, it's very simple pattern, real simple. You start at one end when you cast on like 6 stitches, and it has an I-cord edge, which I didn't have a problem with. The issue with the Sophie scarf is that you have to count your rows. And by that I mean every 8th row, you do an increase on the one side. And sometimes it's hard to keep track of, you know, doing the increase. But I think I did a pretty good job. it's pretty even. And it's a fun knit. It's not really mindless because you do have to keep track of where you are and keep track of the rows, because you know you get to a certain point, and then after that you start to decrease, so then you're keeping track of the decrease rows. So that's my Sophie scarf. And then I made this. This is the Wise, let's see, what is it called? It's called Wise Hilda's Basic Triangle Shawl. And it's by Kate Atherley. And it is a basic triangle shawl. It's got a little bit of detail, you can see. So this is another one that's very simple. It's just knit and purl, making the stockinette stitch. But again, you have to keep track of the rows, because this one too, every 8th row, you're doing like on the knit side you're doing, on the purl side you're doing, on the 8th row you're doing a knit stitch instead of the purl, and that makes these little stripes. This one too, wear it this way, or this way, tie it. If I made this one again, I would make it bigger. But I only had 2 skeins of this yarn, and so that's how much I could do. The yarn is really nice. Again, it's this is Knit Pick City Tweed and DK weight, and this colorway is called Blue Blood. I'm not sure, I don't get that, but that's what it's called. So that's another thing I made. And I have one work in progress, and I am making the Sophie hood. I'll put a picture in here. I have been seeing it all over TikTok and Ravelry, and I kept resisting, saying, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But it looks so cool with the hood. It's very different. I haven't seen anything like that. So I decided to start it. And it's the same premise so far, as from what I can tell so far. It, you start off again at the end, just like the Sophie scarf. It's got the I-cord edges, and you're increasing, depending on the size, how many rows. So I'm doing the medium size, and so every 8th row I have to increase. So what I've been doing is putting these markers to kind of help me figure out how many rows before I have to do the increase. This, I didn't have, this calls for Aran weight or worsted, I guess. I didn't have enough of the same color. In fact, I don't even know if I have any Aran weight or worsted weight yarn. Most of my stuff is DK or fingering. So I'm doing 2 strands of fingering weight with this too. And I just took this yarn is Heritage Prints, and it is by Cascade Yarns. And so I took 2 skeins and I wound them together so I wouldn't have to deal with the 2 skeins tangling up in each other. And they were very similar. Even though they were different colors. They're very similar in color. And that's what that looks like. And then I have another one of these, which is what I'm using right now. I hope it'll be enough. So I just started this last night. I don't know how long it's going to take me to do, but I'm going to put a picture. I don't know if I said that. I'm going to put a picture of what the Sophie hood looks like. And I hope mine comes out to look the way it's supposed to. So that's it. I have been doing a lot of knitting and crocheting, as you could see. I made a hat too, but my son was here this afternoon and I gave him, he's my biggest fan of hats. He loves to wear my hats, so, and I like making them. So it works out good. Let's see. I have been, as I said in the beginning, just very trying to keep myself from going stir crazy. Right now I'm also trying to put together a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. This is the puzzle. I don't know. I haven't gotten very far. I think this is going to be a year-long project until I have to clean up my dining room to make room if I get company. I did go out today, go to the store and to the drugstore. This weather, I just don't feel like doing that, but I forced myself. And on the way to the drugstore, I got a text from my son that they were going to come over. So my son and daughter-in-law and little Dante, my youngest grandson, who's going to be a year old February 2nd. And he's just too cute. He's just too cute. He's starting to, like, he wants to take some steps. He's standing. If he forgets himself, he'll be there like holding something and he's standing on his own until he realizes it. But I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that visit. I really needed it today. And it was really such a pick-me-up. So I think that's it for today. Again, please, if you could check out Claire, see what's going on with her. Hopefully the link will work. I will test it before I put it up. And don't forget, if you're commenting, you will be entered in for the giveaway. And this is story number 3, so we have 2 more to go before I pick a name. And doing these videos is sort of like I have to be in the mood. So today I was in the mood to do one. It takes a lot to do these for me because I'm not a normally, or I should say not a naturally chatty person, and to sit here and talk to, I know that you're out there, but what I'm seeing is my image, and I feel like I'm talking to myself, but I know that's not true, so that's what makes it a little easier. I think it's just trying to be trying to talk and not receiving the immediate feedback, so there's not a back and forth conversation going on. So that's what's a little difficult. I think you can imagine that, right? So I hope that wherever you are, you're doing okay. And I'm very appreciative that you come and watch. and it helps. I am trying to get up the courage to join the knitting group here. I think I've said that before. And I just have to pick up the phone and call somebody who, I have met the person who is in charge of the knitting group, but that's when I first moved in. And yeah, so I just have to get up the nerve to make that phone call. So maybe the next time I do a video, I will be telling you about my new knitting group. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to sign off. There will be no pond pictures today because it's freezing and I'm not going out there. So you'll have to do with the sunset. That's one of the things. The way my house is situated is my living room gets no sun at all. So it's always dark. I'm sitting in my kitchen and I have patio doors in my kitchen that lead out to the outside, to my patio. And the way the sun sets in that direction, that way. So I get the most fabulous sunsets. So that's really nice. I like that. I don't know. I think I'd rather have the sun come over my house like this instead of that way, because the front part of my house actually just absolutely gets no sun. It's very depressing. Because that's where I spend most of my time. Like my living room, my kitchen is kind of bright and cheery because it does get sun in the afternoon, so that's nice. So I'm going to stop babbling now, and I'm going to say I will see you next time with the finished Sophie hood. Take care now. I'll talk to you later. Bye now.